A day in history. The funeral soon to begin for the Princess of Wales.
No one who knew Diana will ever forget her.
And a remarkable moment as Diana's sons meet their grieving public in London.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good evening, Ray Martin reporting from outside Westminster Abbey. In all the days of London's long, colourful history, never has there been an event such as this one. They say up to 6 million people will line the route of the funeral procession. Another 2 billion or more watching on television right around the world. And as we wait for the funeral, we've learned of another loss, the death of Mother Teresa, the little nun who gave her life to the poorest of the poor. A friend of the princess, we pay tribute to Mother Teresa shortly. But here in London, the people have given a tender reception to Diana's sons, William and Harry, coming to Kensington Palace to greet the crowds, while the Queen has responded to the public demand to show that she also cares. Mark Burrows begins our coverage.
With a nation transfixed, the royal family began the day with a painful journey from their Scottish retreat of Balmoral back to London. Prince Charles at the wheel, Princes William and Harry in the back seat. Without ceremony or fuss, the entire royal family boarded planes for the flight back home over a country torn with grief. Back in the capital at last, the car carrying the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh making a solitary sight. One final turn and then their first sight of Buckingham Palace since Diana's death. Their first view of the People's Memorial, the mountains of flowers at their gates. No one quite knew what the reception would be as the Queen and Prince Philip moved among the crowd, perhaps the most difficult moment of her reign. But as she quietly chatted away with the mourners, it soon became clear there was nothing but sympathy for the royals.
Judging by the people who were around me and their comments, we're, pleased she's back and we feel better now.
At St James's Palace down the road, there was only support and from one mourner, a single rose. Later, she visited the room where thousands had written in the books of condolence.
I think we need to give her a lot of respect, and I'm very happy that she's come.
Then, over at Kensington Palace, the most moving sight of the day, Princes William and Harry with their father walking out the front gates to see the ocean of flowers placed in memory of their mother. And most remarkable of all, how composed the two boys seemed to be, taking obvious comfort from the wishes of those keeping vigil.
Charles.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry. William.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I shook his hand and then I got all tearful. I couldn't say anything.
The country was reaching out to the two boys like never before. Warm handshakes, even a quick hug for 12-year-old Harry.
Yeah, I shook his hand and I said, they'll always be in our thoughts and in our prayers, and that comes from the bottom of our heart.
And William came next to him and I told him that we were so sorry for him and that his mother will live on in him. And he said, thank you.
The princes were given single white lilies, which they added to the shrine outside the palace where they spent their childhood. As they left to return to an empty home, the crowd's attention turned to Buckingham Palace, where, in a live broadcast to Britain, the Queen delivered the most important speech of her life.
What I say to you now, as your Queen and as a grandmother, I say from my heart. First, I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, nor to inspire others with her warmth and kindness. I admired and respected her for her energy and commitment to others, and especially for her devotion to her two boys. I, for one, believe there are lessons to be drawn from her life and from the extraordinary and moving reaction to her death. I share in your determination to cherish her memory.
The speech struck exactly the right chord with the thousands listening outside.
She sounded very sincere and she looked as though she was very moved, and I think that will satisfy everyone.
I thought she said everything she should have said. Can't think of anything that she left out at all.
So for the moment at least, the angry words and headlines have been forgotten as Britain unites and joins the royal family at a time of grieving like no other in its history. Mark Burrows, National 9 News, London.
Many, many people have been waiting at the barricades for 2 days or more to be a part of this special occasion. Reporter Daniel Blyde is outside Buckingham Palace right now among the masses.
Well, Ray, finding the words to describe what's happening here isn't easy. Despite the crowds, there is a reverential hush here, and I think great anticipation that we are all about to witness a moment in history. But perhaps the best hint we've had is to the way people are feeling on the streets. Came here last night with the truly haunting images of Diana's coffin being moved in readiness for today's procession.
For 5 days and nights she had rested in peaceful privacy. Now it was time for Diana's final journey to Kensington Palace, one last night at the place she called home. Her coffin draped in the royal standard, topped with her favourite white lilies. The princess so loved by her people, by the world, but surely even she could not have imagined it would be like this. Hundreds of thousands who'd come a day early for her funeral already lining the route, so grief-stricken, still unable to accept, as the people's princess glided between them in near silence, soon to be gone forever. All through the day, Britain was preparing for an event the scale of which may never have been seen before. The sea of flowers that has built up over 6 days outside Diana's home and Buckingham Palace, 1 million bouquets in all now, only hinting though at the enormity of what is to come. From all corners of this sad kingdom, they were making their pilgrimage to London. Hundreds of extra buses and trains had been turned on, all filled to capacity. Many travelling the length of the country, each journey a personal tribute. Across London, preparations for a crowd it has proved impossible to estimate. Security for the event as overwhelming as every other aspect of this day. 27,000 police officers will be on duty. All leave has been cancelled.
This is a unique event, as has been said before, and estimates range from anything from 1 million to 6 million people.
The gun carriage Diana's body will be carried on, soon to be the focus of the world, was being given some last-minute attention. The bodies of Sir Winston Churchill and Earl Mountbatten have ridden on it, but the soldiers of the King's Troop will this time be guiding it through unparalleled emotion.
Uppermost in their minds will be the fact that they're taking part in a tremendous expression of the nation's sadness.
It's a feeling the crowds now cramming every vantage point along the route also battled to describe. Many, indeed most, came here with no idea where they were sleeping. They will be lucky to catch even a glimpse of Diana's cortege, yet there was never any question of not being here.
I just feel it is my duty to be here to say goodbye to Diana, my princess.
I don't think I would have done this for any other member of the royal family.
A deep sense of loss shared across the globe.
I just feel I had to be here, really. I was here in London and the impact just hit me so hard.
But perhaps none throughout this tragic week has summed it up more eloquently than an 8-year-old girl who wandered over to tell us exactly why everyone was here.
We really want to see her again, but it's not that nice to let her go. That's why. It's really sad that we've lost a lovely lady.
Daniel Blyde, National 9 News, London.
There are echoes of royal myth and legend about the last resting place of Diana. In a dramatic change of mind, she will not be laid with her ancestors at the family crypt in the village church in Great Brington. Instead, the Princess of Wales will truly rest in peace, buried on an island at Althorpe, the Spencer family estate.
Diana grew up on this estate. It is here she will finally be laid to rest, on this island surrounded by an ornamental lake, beside trees planted by the Princess, Prince Charles and their 2 sons. Mark Ferguson, National 9 News.
And now to Mother Teresa. For the second time this week, the world is faced with the loss of someone we loved and someone we admired. Mother Teresa died of heart failure this morning at her mission in Calcutta. She was 87. The Roman Catholic nun was planning to spend her day in special prayer for Diana. Now she's reunited with a young English sister of charity.
Mother Teresa sought out those places where despair and poverty were common. Robert Penfold, National 9 News.
With a massive crowd now lining the route of the cortege, we'll be returning shortly with more from London.
Your candle burned out long before your legend ever appeared.
I'll be back at the end of the bulletin for our live coverage of the funeral, commercial-free for the next 5 hours or so. From Kensington Palace, past Buckingham Palace, and here at the Abbey, the streets are now jammed with mourners. The procession of Diana's coffin is soon to begin. Until then, we return to local stations for the rest of today's news. An extraordinary scene here. Westminster Abbey has witnessed the great moments of Britain's history, modern history, weddings and funerals, war and peace, joy and grief. But nothing more poignant than this day. As Buckingham Palace tells us, there is no precedent for this occasion today, so they're actually flying blind. More emotion, less ceremony is the way that today's funeral is being described by the Abbey. From traditional hymns and readings to Elton John's Candle in the Wind. And it's hard to imagine more emotion than that is going to bring for us all. The streets of London, especially here, all around here, were paved with sleeping bags last night and the night before, along with that veritable ocean of flowers and cellophane that you see everywhere. Police have removed most of the flowers from around here where we are for security reasons. Obviously, security is paramount. Still, the mood is dignified and special. Mark Burrows is at Buckingham Palace, from where the Queen will leave for the Abbey in just over an hour. Mark?
Thanks, Ray. Well, I guess what strikes you the most here outside Buckingham Palace is very simply just how quiet it is. Despite the sea of faces, almost a respectful silence fills the air here. There's brilliant sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. On the parkland, just away from the crowds, there's classical music playing, would you believe, just adding to that serene mood. As you move amongst the people, many people who have come from all parts of Britain, Europe, America, and yes, indeed, Australia to pay their respects, you soon find out that people are not too sure how they will react to the sight of the funeral procession, what they will do, how they will feel when they see Diana's coffin. But what does hit you is the fact that Diana, Prince of Wales, was not just a person, not just a princess, I should say, to these people, but above all, she was a person who affected these people in so many different private ways. Talking to the people too, I've found that of course, so many people here are expressing their grief so publicly. Many people have found that quite refreshing, a very un-British thing to do. As I say, crowds still filling the area here. The route somewhere between 10 to 20 deep. People still coming in here. Police still expecting a crowd, perhaps the biggest since VE Day, 1945. Ray?
Yes, babe. The cortege from Kensington Palace to here in Westminster Abbey will take 1 hour and 47 minutes, we are told, over a distance of just about 2 miles. About halfway, the procession of mourners will join the coffin, just over 500 people, representing about 100 or so charities that the Princess of Wales supported in her very active life. Whether the young Princes William and Harry will also walk behind their mother's coffin is still not known. Buckingham Palace says that today is going to be such a public ordeal for the boys that there's simply no way of knowing in advance whether they're strong enough to handle the emotions of this very sad moment. They are, after all, only 13 and 15. Jennifer Kite is in London's famous Hyde Park along the route of the cortege.
Thanks, Ray. Well, the feeling here at the Queen Mother's Gate at Hyde Park is extraordinary. A sea of people right in the centre of one of the world's biggest cities, and yet there's an eerie silence, a sense of loss and disbelief. The crush of human emotion is quite breathtaking. It gives you goosebumps. A lot of people feel the need to cry. Others want to talk about what they're going through. So many mixed emotions on this special day. Lorraine, how are you feeling today?
Very sad.
Where have you come from?
From North Wales, Carnarvon in North Wales.
And how long have you been here?
Since about 8 o'clock last night.
Why did you feel the need to come?
Well, for Diana and, well, just for history, really, and to support Prince William and Prince Harry.
And Sarah, how long have you been here?
Well, I've been here since about 7:30 last night. We actually got here about 5 minutes before They drove Her Royal Highness Princess Diana's coffin round, and the two boys, the two princes and their father, were actually behind, and it just brought it home really, because they seemed so real and so vulnerable.
And what are your thoughts today?
She's in heaven, isn't she, with Mother Teresa? Yep.
Thank you, girls. It is a day none of us here will ever forget. Back to you, Ray.
Now, the mood here today is quite different to what it's been for the last few days. I suspect that the Queen's walkabout yesterday with Prince Philip and also the boys out talking to the very people that we were talking with then, I think has diffused what was going here to be a fairly volatile and a fairly troublesome, almost angry mood amongst people who'd heard nothing from Buckingham Palace. That's changed today. As we walked down through here, we found that there were the candles, of course, that were flickering there, and there was tent city around here for people who'd stayed overnight and stayed for 2 nights through rain yesterday. But generally they had their portable radios and they had their portable television sets, and they were watching and waiting and dignified and respectful, but not quite as gloomy as we'd found them a few days ago. So I think that whatever the plans were from Buckingham Palace, that has worked here. As well as that, we must remember that we're just part of a massive television operation of this event today, and it is an event. It's a solemn and sad one, but it is an event. Over 2 billion people they expect around the world, far greater than anything else that's been seen. There will be no royals in the funeral service today. That's their choice. Diana's 2 sisters and her brother, the Earl Spencer, will participate, doing some of the readings, but the royal family have decided that they don't want to. And similarly, there'll be no photographs in there. Let me just quickly, a card that I had down that I saw quickly said to Diana, said, Queen of the Coloured Hearts, Queen of the Devastated, Queen of the Unloved Ones, Queen of the Unknown. It was signed, Love from the Unknown.